Have you ever wondered what's going through the mind of a music director at your audition? What are they actually looking for? What do they want from you? Well, let's talk about it. Welcome to 32 Bar Cut. I'm Austin Cook, Broadway music director and writer, and I hope you'll consider hitting that like button and subscribing with the notification bell on so you never miss an episode. We've got a lot of amazing content coming for you. Okay, let's talk about a Broadway music director and what we're actually looking for in your auditions. Now, the first thing you need to keep in mind at these Broadway auditions is that even though you're auditioning for, let's say, Beauty and the Beast, we may have already cast a bunch of those roles, which happens all the time. Beauty and the Beast, we have Belle, we have Beast, we have Lumiere, we have Cogsworth, we have Gaston, we have all of these actors, but we probably have most of those principals cast. We might still be looking for a Maurice. We might be looking for some ensemble, some dance swings. So when you enter, if you don't have that context in mind, knowing that you might not be right for a particular part, when you walk in as a 20-year-old woman and I'm looking for Maurice's, and then a music director maybe isn't paying as much attention, or you do 16 bars and we say, thank you so much, and then you're out, that can feel really devastating and sad unless you know that, hey, I probably just wasn't the right type for what they're looking for. Obviously, we're looking for Maurice, then we're not going to waste a bunch of time singing multiple songs, doing stuff. We might just be done because you're not the right type. And that's really difficult for some actors to really grasp, is that they feel that they were rejected or something in the audition, but really you're not. It's just because you're not the right type for what we're looking for. So that's number one. Number two, after a type comes in, let's say you are a Maurice type. Well, now music directors have a specific vision for what they need an actor to be able to do for them, right? And it's not just based on the original Broadway album or the revival or what you think it might be. Just because you think you have the right voice for Maurice, we might have something else in mind. So let's take Maurice, Belle's father in Beauty and the Beast. Maybe I have in my head that Maurice needs to be a big baritone, baritenor, and have real depth to his sound, right? Traditionally, I think Maurice is a tenor and a little bit lighter. But let's say I want that approach and you're coming in as a high tenor. Well, maybe instantly you aren't right because of what I've done with the vocal arrangements. It's just not going to be a good fit. So maybe you're out, right? So it's just something to keep in mind, that even though you might be a good fit musically for you in your own version of the show, music directors often have different vision of what they need. I know in like new shows, like I'm working on a new show now, in gospel music, I grew up in church. Gospel music's kind of my bread and butter. I have a specific vision, specific version of gospel that I'm looking for in the singers, what they're able to do. They have to have a certain facility, a natural facility in the way they use runs, for instance, and riffs. And if that's not your particular bread and butter, if you have a more musical theater style of what gospel is, it may not be a good fit for this particular show. Even though you're a great actor, you had a great audition, right? We just have certain criteria that we're looking for as a music director. One of the things I think in general, you might be wondering, what general things are music directors looking for? They're looking for, are you singing with the piano in tune, right? Can you hold pitch? Sometimes singers sound particularly sharp or flat when they hold long notes. And that is a red flag for a music director, because we need you to be able to blend with an ensemble sound in a musical theater show. And if you're constantly going a little sharp, going a little flat on notes, we are concerned that you won't be able to blend with the group, that you have some pitch issues. So that's one thing to really watch. You can record yourself when you're rehearsing at home, working on this, record yourself. And if you don't have a good ear, you can't hear when you're going sharp or flat, send it to a music director friend. Send it to someone who's a little bit musical, and they can say, hey, yeah, and just someone who you respect and that can, in kindness, say, hey, you're a little sharp, a little flat. And otherwise, work with a vocal teacher, a vocal coach, and really get these audition songs dialed in. Because the second we start to hear that pitchiness, it is a red flag to a music director. It makes us very concerned. Another big thing that I'm looking for is breath control, right? Do you have good technique? Are you taking good breaths? Are you able to act in song would be the third thing. we really want to make sure that we're hiring actors. Obviously, the director is going to fight for his actors, or her actors. So they're going to be like, we really like this acting. And my job is a little bit more of how the voice complements that. But at the same time, music directors want good actors too. So we want to make sure you can tell a story through those lyrics and songs. So we're looking at that. So as you think about putting yourself in the shoes of a music director, I want you to think first about type. Does this seem like I am the right type for this particular role? And is that type available, right? And then number two, think about, okay, my execution. Am I making sure I'm not pitchy? Am I executing? Am I have good breath control? Do I sound really great? Every note is specific and I know this audition like the back of my hands. That's number two. And number three, make sure you're just acting. You've got to act the song. If it's just technically great, next. You've got to be able to tell a story and really act the song. All right, I hope that's helpful. And again, thank you so much for joining this community of 32 Bar Cut. Thank you for subscribing and hitting that like button. That really helps us a lot. Consider being a member also if you're really interested in a lot of the value that you get there. And again, I hope you see you soon and break a leg.